KwaZulu-Natal Transport MEC Siboniso Duma is meeting with some of the flood-affected families. Newzroom Africa's Phila joins us live from there. Phila, very good afternoon to you. A very difficult time as many people are now picking up the pieces after being put into turmoil by these storms and what's been happening with regards to the floods in their areas. I believe a man has lost his life where you are. Just give us an update with regards to the latest that's happening there.
Absolutely, Kadleho. So it's still devastation all around here. As you've already mentioned, we're actually at one of the homes now. What happened here is that there was a man, 45 years old, who was actually buried alive by a mudslide, and the family just trying to pick up the pieces from that particular tragedy. The MEC for Human Settlements and Transport here in KwaZulu-Natal, Siboniso Duma, has been visiting these families and just offering support. I think support is very important at this time, as some of them have already started, trying to prepare for the send-off of their loved ones. As the MEC actually continues with visiting these families, you're just going to get a couple of words from him with regards to the support that is being offered during this difficult time. MEC, thank you so much for your time. You have been visiting affected families. I understand you've also been to a home where 2 people had passed on. Support is essential at this point. Tell us, what is it that you're offering to these families?
Thank you so much, Brother Phila, for affording us this opportunity. Let me greet Kahle, Institute, and your viewers at home. This is a joint operation between Human Settlement Transport and eThekwini, which is why in our midst we have a eThekwini Metro Mayor Baba Xaba. I've been with him since this morning and his collective. Today we are currently we are at Nkwanyana family, as we've already highlighted. The government is duty bound just to ensure that it portrays a character of a caring government, of a government that take into cognizance when they've got a loved one, we must visit them. So, which is why we started at Msom family, where in majority their gravesite have been destroyed. It's a catastrophe. From there, we then went to Mhlongo family. Husband and wife lost their lives. And unfortunately, we have to visit at Mandane at some point in time because they were playing the role of caretaker in the Mhlongos in the Stolle family. So we are now at Nkwanyana. So we just come with different things. The burial system of eThekwini is going to come and assist them. We just have to come with groceries, at least just temporary measures, because unfortunately there are 9 in this family. There were 9 in this family up until yesterday. So there are 8 now. They've just been accommodated by the neighbor, which they made. Neighbor is a good host, which at this point in time. So we must just assist them until their house has been rebuilt. They've already requested that the TLB must come and clear the site. It is on their way as we speak. As Human Settlement, we've just addressed that matter, which is critical. So that's the type of comfort that they want. And they must also be assisted with the issue of counseling. The counseling service is critical. I'm sure you know the mudslide because you'll be buried alive. And when you are taken out of that process, it's not a nice issue. It's not a nice view if you just think about that. And Mayor and I will be also visiting the last family because we are truly proud just to check almost all of them.
MEC, I see temporary solutions, but for situations like this, I think we also need to have long-term lasting solutions, maybe something to even try and prevent the destruction of this nature from happening moving forward. There have been concerns around issues of housing and the integrity of the people's houses and where they actually built these houses. MEC, how is that going to change moving forward?
I must just highlight first that there are variables when it comes to this issue, the issue of climate condition, the global warming. As we know, we just have to adhere to the resolution, which is why as from now onwards, we must also implement what we call the adaptation method. Those people who must build must identify an area, which is why SPLOMA, special planning for all our municipalities, we are saying that just ensure that you identify a land that is habitable, a land that is not in a wetlands or near river frontage, because that's where a problem lies. These rains, I'm sure you know that from 1987, it took 10 years. From then onwards, it's been floods since 2017 up until today. So it means that as we build and rebuild, we just have to adhere to all these processes. The reality is that even the stormwater drainage, the drainage system from eThekwini, from other municipalities, it must be designed in such a way that it is going to accommodate those heavy rain, the mudslide, mudslide at some point in time. So we are at that situation, and we are just going to do exactly like that. Unfortunately for us, disaster funding lies within the national minister. We've already spoken to Mr. Nkadimeng, who's already delegated a team along with us. So we are just going to work together. By the time we build this house, it would have been identified whether this area is habitable or we just have to move the household.
But MEC, people identifying safe areas to build on, is there even sufficient land to even begin with? Because you find that people are desperate to have their structures built up. Now they have to settle for what they are able to find because they feel as if government is failing them. There's just not enough land.
I think it's a special planning of the apartheid system. You know that the majority of people were moved to hinterland in the area that is not habitable. And unfortunately, that 3% took that land. So, you know, we're only left with 13% of the land as the majority of our people. So slowly we have to juxtapose and address those imbalances, which is why we talk Amakosi. Fortunate for us in this province of KwaZulu-Natal, we do have some strategic areas in rural areas, and some of those areas belong to Ngonyama Trust. So we have to talk to those people that who are responsible, and we must talk to His Majesty in ensuring that let us identify a land for development. We are regarded and referred to human settlements because you cannot just build only houses without recreational activities. You must have a center right there, you must have school, you must have clinics, so that you build a proper community that is not going to be dependent on another process. Just as you know how you build nowadays, people must be self-reliant, people must be able to produce in that area. But at the Ethekwini municipality, I just have to be realistic. It's a metro, urban area, we don't have adequate land, which is why even in formal settlements, people will be moved today. You identify land, and tomorrow they're already renting those, and we have Abahlali Basemjondolo addressing something that is not what Ethekwini wants to hear.
Okay, thank you so much, MEC. Katlego, I hope we have time. I just want to bring in the mayor of the city of Ethekwini, Cyril Xaba. Thank you so much for your time, Mayor. The issue of drainage systems has been coming up quite a number of times. We have been to Isipingo. Residents, they're complaining that they feel neglected by the municipality, and that whenever they raise these concerns, it keeps on falling on deaf ears. What is your response?
Well, let me start by saying we're in the south of Durban, and this area has experienced 184 milliliters of rainfall, something that rarely happens when the rest of the city was experiencing up to about 100 milliliters of rainfall. So in situations like this, it's expected that there will be disaster happening. The good thing is that our teams were able to respond quickly. They are on the ground, and they're trying to help the affected households. The numbers of dwellings that were destroyed, completely destroyed, like this one, is 38 of them. And people who were individuals that were left, that were impacted by these incidents, they number 168, 167 about. That's the extent of damage. Our infrastructure indeed was damaged. Our clinics were damaged. Libraries were damaged. The good thing is that at least the clinics that were damaged do have some they're still functional, so to speak. So coming to the issue you are raising of stormwater and everything else, and we are learning by day that the measures we're implementing before were never up to the situation that we're experiencing currently. The MEC says we've got to now come up with, we must adapt to the situation that it is. So going forward, we'll ensure that we adapt to the climate change conditions.
Okay, but Mayor, the drainage system, it's not something which happened now from these recent torrential rains. It's a long-standing issue. It's also played a part towards the flooding which we see today. So there are clearly issues which have been long-standing and are just not being addressed, Mayor.
Well, look, I'm not aware of the issues you are referring to, but all I know is that issues that we pick up as requiring attention, we do attend them. And of course, this is a collective responsibility that even the people who stay closer to our drainage system must ensure that they don't throw things that they need not go into the drainage system, because when situations like this happens, they get blocked and then water spills all over the show. But of course, we've got to attend to that. In areas where that has been mentioned, we've got to attend to it. That's a situation that will always be alive to, not run away from that situation as the city.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor. Katlego, there you have it. Those are just the words coming through from the Human Settlements and Transport MEC Siboniso Duma here, as well as the eThekwini Municipality Mayor, responding to the concerns that have been repeatedly raised by community members of the drainage system issues, the blockage, which we have been seeing. Where in Isipingo earlier, we did show those visuals live here on Newzroom Afrika, but there doesn't seem to be, a concrete action when it comes to that decisive action being taken. So those are the responses that we're just getting from the leadership here today. Katlego, it's back to you.